So we're going to play this game again on What's Eric's Mug Today. So I want you to take a guess.
Well, I saw the word chest on it, so I know it's going to have a cute little... And I also saw that the writing was pink, so I know it's going to have a cute little chest burster on it.
Yes, it does have a cute little chest burster. It says, my chest bursts for you, and it's got all these hearts on it, and the chest burster...
Oh, I can't see it.
The chest
it's
burster...
Blurry.
Yep, that was just a little blurry.
It's still blurry.
The chest burster itself is in the shape of a heart, and he's so happy.
Hold it near your face. Hold it near your face, because the camera... Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, I love
so you can
that.
see it. Yep.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, yeah, it just burst for you. Welcome to Pause Button with Storytime Gamer and Bob,
a weekly podcast covering gaming news, reviews, and all things geek.
I'm your host, Storytime Gamer, also known as Eric, and I stream a variety of games on my YouTube channel, StorytimeGamer.com, with a focus of story-driven games, role-playing, and horror. I also love anything from the 80s and 90s pop culture.
And I'm Bob, bringing you games you can chill to. Survival crafting, factory management, and open world RPGs. Anything you can play while listening to a podcast, an audiobook, or watching Netflix.
Send us your thoughts, ideas, and reactions to emails at pausebuttongaming.com. If you haven't already, subscribe to the podcast so you always have the latest episode for when you need to step back from life and press pause.
All right, let's get to the show. Eric, we peered into the future last week and knew that it was going to be a big news week.
Yeah.
Because GAMESCOM.
GAMESCOM. Which, that was what, in Germany? Isn't that where it was? It was like in Europe, because every time...
Yeah, in Europe somewhere.
Somewhere in Europe. Oui. No. Si. Da. Yeah. But yeah, because it was every day on YouTube, because that's how I followed it. Was they had all the presentations and everything, like it said 7 p.m. for whatever their time was, but it was like 11 o'clock here or 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So it's like, okay, yeah. And then sometimes someone said something about Germany. So I'm like, oh, is it in Germany? I didn't even bother to look to see where it was being held. I just knew it was a different time zone, and I got it during the middle of the day for us. So I didn't have to wait till night to catch up on all the new videos and everything else going into the game reveals.
Yeah, I didn't really... I heard that it was in Europe, and I didn't really know why it mattered where it was. I guess the time zone would matter. I wasn't able to watch it live this week, so I caught everything later. So there's nothing about Gamescom or the games or anything that was dictated by it being overseas, because all the games are from multiple studios, and there's a lot of them. Yeah,
there was a lot of games, a lot of new releases. It's like they had different themes every day. So they had their opening night, and those, big things, and then just showing other trailers from games that we've seen before, and things and then we have whole reveal days, just a whole thing for Xbox, a whole thing for this PlayStation wasn't there. They decided to not have a big old featurette, which you could say it's not a power move, but I don't know. They felt their absence could have been a lot stronger for their branding, I think. But the games speak for themselves, so you don't need to necessarily have PlayStation there.
Yeah, do they though? Because, and this is something we're going to talk about. Is when you give me a game trailer and it's all cinematic, I mean, just don't.
No, I agree. No, it's stupid.
So we're going to go through this list of games and just kind of talk about impressions. And then at the end, we've got our winners and losers of show.
Yep.
But part of that for me is what makes a good trailer, and who did a good job of that and who didn't. And so
is that a section too?
About that as we go through.
Okay.
No, it's not a section.
Okay.
We can talk about it though.
Okay, we definitely do need to talk about it, because that's
good trailers, bad trailers.
It's funny because there's a haunting presence about the trailer in the game in past presentations that popped up again in this year.
Haunting?
Or
you mean you were haunted?
Well, there is a haunting of it, and we can talk about it when we get to it. I guess there's a couple news things that were not Gamescom that popped up this week that I definitely need to go into it.
Fine. I said fine. Let's talk about it.
Jeez,
let's talk about the news. Fine. If you insist.
I mean, and for all you guys out there, that's basically what we're going to be talking about today. I don't think we're going to talk about any of our games we've been playing or anything else. There's just so much news and so many things to just discuss and cover that it's best for all of us, in your best interest, that we just cover the news. And I think one of the shocking
doing it for
things,
you.
Yeah, for you. Yeah, you sipping your coffee there, you with your English muffin, you brushing your teeth, you shaving your head, all you walking the dog or the cat. So there's one thing that we talked about. It was like 2 weeks ago about the Oculus price going up. Meta was like, we're going to raise all of our prices in August to $100. And I think I joked and we talked about like, oh, would anyone else do that? Like, Xbox, PlayStation, would Nintendo do this? Well, PlayStation did. They are raising the prices of all their PlayStation 5s up by like the equivalent of 50, I guess, $50, €50, 50, whatever it is for whatever the currency is of the country. Except us in the United States.
I wonder why that is.
Well,
we're not buying enough. We're a big market.
We're a big market. We probably, there's enough scalpers for across not the United States, but the entire world that it really shouldn't matter on that end. I'm trying to remember where it was. Well, the price increase. This is from the PlayStation.blog.
Oh, inflation.
Well, the price increase.
Global economic environment.
Is it necessary? Yeah. I mean, that is it. Chip shortage from last year about this time. Everything else. I mean, it's all kind of taking a whole year to take effect. But it says on the blog, while the price increase is a necessity given the current global economic environment, its impact on the SIE's business, our top priority continues improving the PS5 supply situation. So it's part of the supply shortage and probably the cost of making these units. And I guess in the United States, it's done well enough. There's no definite thing to say why the US isn't getting the hit, but I can tell you one major thing is because the dollar, the United States dollar, is stronger than the euro at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's slowly been that way over the last year. So I'm sure dollar cost average, it's just stronger as a currency. It'll probably change maybe January. I don't know.
People probably didn't think they were going to get deep economic theory on this podcast, but that's just one of the extra bonuses you get from this episode.
That is one of that's something that people forget to think about when it comes to game design. It's like, why is this game? Like we talked about, why is this game $70? Well, we talked about game over time and developers, but there's a price point. But even if you can sell 1 million copies of a game, it could still shut down the studio because they spent all their money on everything else. But yeah, that's a big thing. So the PlayStation 5 is gone up.
I like the PS5. I'm glad people are buying it. I feel like Sony, their case for why I need to buy a PS5 is still not as strong as it needs to be.
No,
we need more.
Yeah, no, and I feel
games.
We need more dedicated next generation games.
Yep.
That's why I'm excited about
played on the PS5.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited about like God of War, Ragnarok. I mean, there is a PlayStation 4 version of it, but I feel like it's going to be more tailored for the 5. I'm pissed about Horizon Forbidden West because that was originally just for PlayStation 5. It was one of the reasons, like, all right, I got to get one. And then it's like, oh, we're going to put on the PlayStation 4 too.
You're letting them have it?
Yeah.
Those unwashed PS4 people, they shouldn't get to have it.
Right. And it's like, you're buying, I bought it for the next gen graphics, the ray tracing, the quick loads, which that was a fun feature for a few games like Demon's Souls and Miles Morales, where it would just like, instantly load to the next section. That doesn't pop up in any other game I've played since.
Yeah. I didn't get to watch Spider-Man riding the subway as much.
No, you can change that. You had to change. It was so quick. You actually have to go into the options to change that back on. Like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart apparently is another good showcase for the PlayStation 5. It's loading and graphics, and I've been meaning to pick that up, but it's to me, it feels like it's a little more pricey than I want. Anyway, so I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know. Microsoft might, hold, even if they're losing money, say on their unit, they might not change their price. And I don't think the Nintendo Switch will change because I feel like they're going to come up with another console soon anyway.
I agree.
So that's enough with them. BioShock movie is coming to Netflix, and I remember this thing's been like floating around as a carcass in the water, just trying to find a place to find port. Because I remember it was originally supposed to be Gore Verbinski, the guy who did all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, was supposed to do it, but now it seems like they found a new director, and I didn't realize it was going to be a Netflix movie, but it kind of makes sense now, I guess. Hold on, everybody.
They can't screw it up. They can't screw it up.
Oh, they can screw
There's
it
no way
up.
They screw this movie up.
They
There's
can
no
screw
way.
it up.
This movie writes itself. Put a dude in a Big Daddy suit.
And that's all.
That's it.
Well, okay, what kind of Big Daddy suit are we talking about here? I mean, this ain't 50 Shades of Grey.
Just go get a bathysphere suit, stick a drill on one arm, and you got your Big Daddy. Easy.
Big Daddy. I mean, if
Just
we have
build, all they have to do is build a set that looks like a retro 60s underwater, city, and then have it do with magical powers, and have creepy little girls, and then a Big Daddy.
Yep.
I mean, that's
lots
it.
of Art Deco, and then creepy record player songs playing in the background, and as you're killing mutant people. So it's going to be
what's his name? Talking over the speaker. What's his name? Ryan.
Andrew Ryan.
Easy.
But who would play Andrew Ryan? Here we go. Fantasy casting.
Well, I guess, does he show up, or is it only his voice in the game?
It should be Jared Leto, right? Yeah.
Yeah, how could that go wrong?
Yeah. No, see, but here's the thing. I'll say that now, and then they actually do cast Jared Leto as. Or
I think it should be Dana Carvey.
Oh, God, no. No. No, that's just out of line. Mine was out of jest. Yours is out of line. So, I mean, maybe Jim Carrey.
Okay, fine. How about Jason Statham? But it'd be like a fighting version.
Ew, no.
That's the kind of thing they would do.
Oscar Isaac would be a great Andrew Ryan. Yes.
Yeah, he would.
Or Michael Fassbender.
Yes. Oh, no. I'm going to one up you. Guy Pearce would be the best.
Oh,
Andrew Ryan.
No. Yep. That's me clapping.
Just put the makeup on him from Prometheus when he was the old Wayland guy, and just wheel him right back in, and he's Andrew Ryan.
Well, he's not that old.
He's so evil.
He's not that old, but yeah, he'd be like, a man chooses, a slave obeys. So anyway, it's going to be apparently the director that did the Hunger Games movies that they grabbed. Let's see, where was his name? I'm trying to remember his name. Yeah, I don't know. Francis Lawrence. He did the last 4 Hunger Games, and then apparently the writer Michael Green, who did Logan and Blade Runner 2049, is supposed to do the screenplay. So I think we're in good hands. Cheers
to lose.
Don't
Cheers
screw
to
it
lose,
up,
bro.
So there's that. And then also speaking of adaptations, the first clips of Last of Us TV show showed up because the House of Dragons premiered last week.
Yeah.
And it gave me chills because it was like, y'all get it, because that was just spot on adaptation. Even what's his face? Who's
Pedro
playing
Pascal.
Yeah, he sounded just like Joel does in the game. And I'm excited from just the little clips that I've seen in there.
Well, Pedro Pascal also has experience protecting a child in a dangerous environment.
I know. It's like, oh, look, he did good with this little, little baby Yoda. Let's put him to protect every child from now on.
Yeah, and I know, I think you mentioned this before. I'm not crazy about Bella Ramsey as Ellie. She's too young looking, and I don't know. I don't think they captured the feel of her. She looks too vulnerable.
But that's the point. She's supposed to be vulnerable.
I don't like her.
And then she comes and kicks your butt.
She could be like a. She belongs. Was she in Game of Thrones?
Yes, she was the little girl from the Bear Island, and it was like, in charge of all those people.
Yeah,
she was badass in that.
Creepy mutant-looking people belong in Game of Thrones, not in this movie. We need a regular-looking person.
Well, I mean, they couldn't get Ellen.
It's fine.
They couldn't get Elliot Page anymore, so.
They captured yeah. Remember she accused them of stealing her likeness for that character.
Yeah, and they actually changed it up after like a trailer.
Yeah. No, they captured the feel of it, and it reminded me of one of my favorite books, The Road. There's a scene where you can see him. They're walking across this big bridge, and you can tell it's post-apocalyptic and it's abandoned. And I love that stuff, man. I'm optimistic about this movie.
No, the show. Yeah, I'm very excited. I think they're going to do it right, and then it might inspire a bunch of other video game adaptation movies to actually do well.
Get it right.
First, here comes Game of Thrones. Like, oh, we all want to do dark fantasy. Like, well, HBO just did a video game adaptation. I don't think they've never done it before over at HBO, so this might be a new good trend. Out with the superhero movies, in with video game adaptations. We will see. Do we care about the new Saints Row? Do we even want to talk about it? I threw it in here because it was like I was just piling in stuff to talk about for the week, but I think there's a lot of more interesting things. I mean, here's the. I mean,
anytime I will say, anytime a game gets trashed is a loss. I don't celebrate bad games, and I remember playing this game a long time ago and having a lot of fun with it. So the fact that they're making another one and it's not doing well that's a bummer. People worked really hard on that game, and if it sucks, that's too bad.
Yeah, it's when it comes into hype and trying to get it off the ground and then it just falls flat, not because of glitches, but just because the game itself. That's always bad, and I've never been a fan of Saints Row. Whenever they showed me this reboot, I'm like, really, this is what we're going to do? We're not going to figure out something else to do with money and time. But I hope they figured out if it's the glitches, they get the glitches figured out, or an expansion that saves it. I don't know, but congrats on making a game, but sorry, it's not doing well. Let's see. And then, freaky noise from space. Did you hear about it? Did you hear it?
I did.
The freaky noise.
I listened to the
pretty
noise.
Freaky. Yeah, we'll put a clip of it in the show notes for everybody. But it sounds like a Mass Effect Reaper, and it's like the sound of what a black hole or a star collapsing sounds like. It's pretty. It gives me the creeps listening to it.
Yeah, it's. I mean, can I just say, this is science. This is space nerds trying to make space interesting to gamers. I mean, it said that there was gas. Yeah, and that's how they heard the sound. But then they mixed it with other data. Yeah, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, okay. Yeah. No, it's a weekend read.
Yeah, because it's there's no the way the sound you can hear sound in space is because you need to have molecules to hit each other so that you get the sound wave. That's how we hear it, because we have air and other stuff to hear. Vibrations, and our ears interpret that, but there's nothing to really do that out in space.
No, and if you get into space and you actually find Reapers, no one can hear you scream. As we all know, in space, no one can hear you scream.
That's a xenomorph, though.
So,
yeah, no one wants to hear you scream.
No one wants to hear you scream. That's what you should say. In space, no one wants to hear you scream.
No one wants to hear you scream.
Keep it down over there, Reapers.
Yeah, keep it down. So there's a trailer for First Descendant. This got teased a while ago, and I think this was one of the Gamescom reveals. And did you get a chance to look at this trailer?
Oh yeah,
First Descendant. What were your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, my very first thought was groundbreaking use of armored high heel boots, and also really thin, like glasses. Like these people are like warriors or whatever, but then there's like the woman that's got the little glasses on.
Yeah.
Fine. It's cool. When you get past that, the combat looks awesome.
It looks like, I think I call it a chimera of many other games, which can be good and it could be bad. So I'm eager to see how it plays, and that's the other thing is like here, it looks great, but how does it really play? Because, until you get your hands on the controller and then doing all that stuff, it could be meh, or it could be like, wow, this is really fun to do. Because it's like everyone's starting to do all that whole mechanic of hook shot, pulling you everywhere. I mean, that's been going on. It feels like the last 3 or 4 years, it's been popping up more and more. It's just, I think it's a great way to traverse. But other than that, it just felt, I can't really decide. I can't put a weight on it until we see more. Don't know if that's going to be competitive, if it's just going to be third person story. I don't know.
Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, so we have here our little sexy librarian glasses.
Right.
Very important to have. And then we have
the heels.
Sexy high heel boots.
Yep.
Armored like high heel boots. Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. And I kept thinking like this is what happened because Anthem didn't take off. Like someone came around like we really like the idea of what Anthem was and we're going to make it better. Remember that Anthem game?
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're making a sci-fi Iron Man game where everyone gets to be Iron Man, and you can't get that right?
Yep.
Man. Oh, what a disappointment. I was so excited about Anthem. There's like 5 games or maybe 6 that look so similar, and we're going to hit on these as we go through this list. Yeah. And this is one of them. Rapid traversal, kind of brawler style combat with lots of combos and stuff. I mean, all looks good. The graphics look fantastic. Oh, yeah. And you're right. Ultimately, how do those things come together in the actual gameplay? Right. At least this trailer gets points for showing gameplay. It mixes in the cinematics with the gameplay, gives us an idea of what's going to be in there. It looks good.
Yeah. They've come a long way from wherever they started, and I'm curious to see more. We need more gameplay reviews. Just don't tease us. Just show us the game. Where's the game?
We demand to see the games.
KOTOR remake is in trouble again. I think we talked about it once before. The remake is been in the works. It got announced. I guess it was like in last year. And I've been excited to hear, see it come out because I'm a big KOTOR fan. And they're having trouble getting this developed. They're changing teams. They're moving stuff around. And it's just kind of like, I feel like this is dead in the water. I don't feel like I'm ever going to see this game. So it's bad. And makes me sad.
I gotta tell you, Eric, I read the article. I don't really care about the story, but this droids, I'd never seen this before.
Yeah, I watched this as a kid.
Oh my gosh.
In trouble again. Yeah, so I was saying that in my show notes that that song pops up in my head, the theme song to Droids cartoon from the 80s.
Yes.
Yep. It's all about C-3PO and R2-D2.
This is, and I don't mean this sarcastically, this is delightfully stupid. I mean,
it is.
It looks like a parody. It looks like someone made this as a joke.
Yeah, it was serious.
It's got the 80s like sitcom theme song, and then these droids, cartoon droids. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. I think I sat on my back porch watching this with a huge smile on my face. Just, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah, it was one of those things I watched as a kid, but then was like disappointed after a couple episodes that it was just the droids. I was hoping like, well, maybe Luke will show up or something else, but like it's just see-through. It's like I imagine what happens between movies and stories that between A New Hope and Episode 3. It's like this is what's happening, everybody, to R2-D2 and C-3PO. But anyway, I digress. That's not what we're going to focus on. So yeah, KOTOR needs to be fixed up, and hopefully we'll get to play it at some point.
Is this distracting if I play these videos
No.
while we're talking?
No, not distracting. I'm not recording the video just yet, so
Right.
we won't be able to share it, but it's fine. It is fine. If you want to do it, go on ahead, folks. If you're curious of what he is referring to, is at some point we're going to record ourselves. And so we're testing out some stuff on our ends, and Bob's got up the screen share thing, so he's watching some stuff as we talk
now,
about it.
The tagline for Arby's, we've got the meats.
Yep.
Destiny 2, we got the ropes. You want ropes? Do you like ropes? Do you like ropes?
I like ropes.
Dude, everybody likes ropes. Ropes are great. So think about all the things you can do with rope. You can throw a rope, okay, and like swing on it. But you can also, you probably didn't know this, you can throw a rope at someone and make them evaporate.
What?
That's a thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you can do that. You can attach a knife to the end of a rope and it becomes a rope knife. That's awesome. Look at Smoky Head. We got this smoky headed guy and you got rope knives. This is Destiny 2, bro.
Yeah.
Destiny 2, Lightfall. We got the ropes.
We got the ropes.
I think fans of ropes, this is going to pull in all of the fans of ropes that have stayed away from Destiny all this time because it didn't have ropes, and now it's got ropes. And also, so you like Spider-Man.
No, I love
Spider-Man can swing, but Spider-Man can only attach his rope to buildings.
Yeah.
Not in Destiny. You can attach your rope just in midair if you want.
How's that work?
Yep. It's magic. It's space magic.
Oh, space magic.
It's psychic rope. Yep.
Psychic rope. Okay. All right. I'll buy it, I guess.
Did you ever play Destiny?
Nope.
It's got, in my opinion, probably the best shooting mechanic, the best feeling shooting mechanic.
Yeah.
I've spent many hours playing Destiny and had a great time with it. It's just it's a forever game, and I can't play forever games forever.
Yeah, I think that's why I stayed away from it, is because it's like it held it not champion, but it just needed the whole online multiplayer thing so much. I'm just like, nope, I can't get into that. Because this is all I would play, and then I'd feel remorse for when I didn't play it after spending so much money. Because there's how many expansions have come to it, and you have to pay every time for expansion. Yeah,
and every one is like, it's like Stardew Valley shooter, because they're like, hey, we have 5 tasks for you to do this week, and you get a reward if you do them all. And next week it's a new set of tasks and a new set of tasks. They just want you to keep coming back, and you're just okay.
And that can be done well.
And they just stretch it out.
Yeah, on like a multiplayer. But if I have to keep buying expansion set every year, every 6 months, then I'm going to be like, it's not expanding to the, you're trying to keep the game going when it's Destiny 2 versus, it's really like, well, this is kind of like Destiny 3 or Destiny 4 at this point on the Destiny 2 engine. That's
not my problem. My problem is the repetition. It's the same with Aliens Fireteam. It's like, you can get these weapons if you play this mission 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to play it 6 times in a row. I don't want to play it all the time. I want to play it a couple times.
Yeah, I think I've burned myself out on the Aliens Fire Teams. I don't think last time I picked it up was whenever you and I played, but they have the Pathogen coming out later this month. I think it's actually this week it comes out, the update. So we'll definitely have to play that. So
it's on the list.
And we should record a session and have all the people see it. Oh, yeah.
You want to talk about Hogwarts Legacy?
Yeah, so I'm excited about the Hogwarts Legacy game. I'm a big Potterhead, so we finally get a release date for Hogwarts Legacy, which it is February 10th of 2023. So I'm hoping that they stick to that date and don't knock it around to March or April, which, a February date is poised to do that. But this game was one of those PlayStation 5 exclusive titles that made me want to go get a PlayStation 5 yet again. And, they've been knocking this thing down for the last couple of years. So hopefully it'll see the light of day. Not too happy about if you pre-order now, you get all these fun things with them. I'm like, oh, good. Not more excuse me. I mean, I love a good bonus for pre-ordering, but not like here's a bunch of things you get for pre-ordering that are cosmetic, and it's like, really, do I really need all this? I'm excited. I want to see more.
Of course you do.
I want to see more of the story trailer, like a really good story trailer, not just like a release trailer. And I'm curious to see how the combat system works, because that's you're throwing magic spells at each other, and it's like, okay, how far can we go with this? Is it satisfying or is it annoying?
Right. So interesting thing here is I was talking to my wife yesterday, and she asked me about this game. She is not a gamer, and she actually 3D games like this where you move around in 3D space, they make her dizzy. So like she doesn't want to play them. She was like, "Do you know about that Hogwarts game?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know about it. When it's coming out, yes, I do." She was like, "I think I want to play that." And I was like, "Oh." So that got her attention, and she saw this as a Harry Potter fan and not a gamer. Yeah. And thought she wanted to play it. And I told her, I said, "Well, we're kind of waiting to see if this is a glorified shooter or if they actually do something novel with the magic mechanic." And what I heard in one of the trailers was you're using a combination of dozens of spells as you play. And I saw Accio, and there's one where he lights a dude on fire. So I don't know. It looks good.
They talk about the Cruciatus curse in this recent trailer. So I'm like, ooh, we're gonna get into some dark spells pretty quickly. So maybe it'll be like the whole, not just say it again, like KOTOR or Fable, where it's like, okay, if you want to go down some down some dark magic, you can do that, but somehow you're still in the purity essence, like you can still be a good person, or like in the middle gray area where some good and some bad magic, or you can go all full Death Eater type, or you can go all good wizard, so no dark wizard, or you can be I guess a light wizard. So I don't know, I'll be curious.
It's a very ambitious looking game,
and it's kind of something that you think would have come out by now, because besides the tie-in movies that came out with every single Harry Potter movie or the Lego Harry Potter games. So I'm excited. I am excited for that. Another announcement. So from Gamescom, they showed a little bit of, but not really any solid gameplay, was for a new Quantic Dream game called Under the Waves. I got some Death Stranding vibes from it. Looks like a walking simulator, emotional journey type thing. So I'll be curious to play it.
It's beautiful.
It looks gorgeous. And so I'm curious to see more, because if it's just like, nothing dramatic, then it'll be kind of meh, but maybe there's some drama to it, some things that'll make it worthwhile to play. It's not David Cage directing it, mind you all who are our Quantic Dream fans, which Quantic Dream is the company that's done things like Detroit Become Human, Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy, or Fahrenheit in the non-Americas, those kind of games. So I'm excited because I always like those type of games. And this one takes place under the water.
Yeah, there's a couple scenes where it looks like you can freely swim or pilot around the ocean, and I love that. I mean, that's what Subnautica is all about, exploring these vast underwater areas. That's exciting. The linear gameplay, linear story thing, it's not my thing. I'm sure it'll be great if that's what you're into. It's not what I'm into. So I don't know. I'll hang back and see about this one.
Yeah. And speaking of Subnautica, you want to talk about your one of the reveals you were disappointed about? Moonbreaker?
Yeah, and I'm curious as a non-Subnautica fan what you thought about Moonbreaker, but I was disappointed not because Moonbreaker looked good or bad, but because when you say a game from the makers of Subnautica, I'm like, oh, is it going to be like Subnautica, which I love? No, it's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be radically different. It couldn't be more different than Subnautica.
Yeah, and I think that is kind of a throw off when you're like, ooh, this is the people that made Halo, but then they make a cooking simulator. I'm like, oh, what is?
Yeah.
What are the skills from you learn from making the Halo games go into cooking simulator? Unless you're like shooting hot dogs and hamburger patties onto the grill, and you're taking cover from fires or something in the kitchen. But sorry, just a bit congested.
What did you think about Moonbreaker itself?
I watched the trailer and I watched like an interview where they played more of it. It seems kind of like, I don't know how much time they've been putting into it. It looks interesting. It's a very novel idea, I think, for doing a tabletop game, because here the idea is, you get tabletop pieces and a turn-based RPG style thing. So you have your little tabletop pieces playing around and you're commanding them to fight the opposite force, which we're going to have games like that, except, the characters are moving. They're from like XCOM or the new Dark Sun from Marvel, things like that. But these guys don't move. It's like a tabletop game. So that's kind of novel, but it's also like, well, if you're into this, wouldn't you rather just go get your friends and play tabletop? And apparently you do painting, customization, stuff like that. So it's interesting. I don't know if it's going to take off well, though. I'll be curious to see how, more of it, but nothing really grabbed my attention to be like, oh my gosh, I got to play this.
I celebrate anyone who's willing to try something new. So I don't want to penalize them for that, because maybe there's a market for this. I did not know that there was a market for emulating the tabletop gaming space, like down to painting the pieces. I mean, I know people spend hours painting pieces, but are people going to spend hours painting pieces and then play this game? I mean, the whole point of painting pieces is either for the joy of like painting, or to show off to other people your paint jobs and stuff. I don't know. Right. And they hired, who they hired? It wasn't George R.R. Martin. No, it was Brandon Sanderson to write the story behind Moonbreaker.
When you have to go
interesting.
I don't know about the whole, you're grabbing other people to write the stories for the game that you're developing. Like, well, shouldn't y'all, I mean, having George R.R. Martin help you with Elden Ring is different from getting a whole author to come in and do it for you. I'm like, oh, all right.
They're like, from the makers of Subnautica and fantasy writer Brandon Sanderson.
Right.
This tabletop painting game. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
I think their mindset was like, well, everyone likes a deck builder now. Deck builders are popular. So why don't we try something else that's of that same nature, where it's, it's something that's physical that you can do digital, but still get that same feeling. So, I'll wait and see. I might try it if I can, try it for a demo or for cheap on like Game Pass. Then I'll definitely try it. You ready to talk about?
You want to talk about?
The Pinocchio game, Lies of P, the one of many other fracking Soulsborne games shown at Gamescom.
I think you're confusing this with Steel Rising. I think it's the same game.
No, Steel Rising and Lies of P are two different games, and both of those games, Steel Rising and Lies of P, have been teased and talked about for the last year. And I find it amazing and interesting that both those games have continued to be coming out. And there was just another Soulsborne game that just came out, like Thymesia or something like that, which looks like Bloodborne. The Steel Rising game is another Bloodborne type game. This Lies of P looks like Bloodborne with the, where it's got that difficulty aesthetic look. And both Steel Rising and Lies of P take place at like the French Revolution. Steel Rising takes place during like the French Revolution in Paris, and it's all like not steampunk, but I guess like mechanical punk or whatever. Everything's like automaton, wind up clockwork things, and then Lies of P is something similar. And it's just, besides those two being a little too close to each other, gameplay and visually, well, I wouldn't say visually, but you know what I'm saying. It's like it's a period piece. I'm
the
curious
degree to. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say I'll play Lies of P. That looks like fun, but also it feels like there's so much missing from it. Still, it feels like it's early in development from the gameplay footage I've watched.
Yeah. The degree to which it and I'll use this term generously, borrows from Elden Ring is pretty astounding. Like down to the little white marker on the guy that you're targeting. It's got little checkpoints that you light up. He's got a little health daily that he can drink. It's it looks good, but your pulse perished. You died.
Right.
You know, it's like, wow, y'all. Is there anything unique in this game that you didn't take from Elden Ring?
Right. Well, yeah, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, any of the bonfires from Dark Souls. So yeah, the Soulsborne. I mean, even Sekiro, because this guy's got a mechanical arm that has like a trick arm. So it's like it's a love letter game, which can be great, but I feel like love letter games need to come out a little bit later after these games have, they're not there anymore. Or it's like it's been forever since we had this. So like someone made a love letter game to Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, like Tunic, or what was the Death's Door. That makes sense. Like, oh, this is nostalgia and fun, but this is like, oh, we're going to make our fan base. This is fanfic.
But you know what else about those two games? And I don't know if you played those. Those were legitimately good games on their own terms. They were like, yes, they were. They're like, hey, do you like Zelda? Yes, you're gonna like this game because it's a lot like it, but it's got its own kind of unique charm. Each of those games. Like, do you like cute crows? Do you like cute foxes? I like both those things. You like this game,
and that's what needs to happen with these Soulsborne. Because that's people like to say Soulsborne is the general term for all the Dark Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro. Soulsborne games is that they need to not mimic. They need to be inspired by, and that's I feel like this is just people like, we really liked it, we're going to make our own version, and so people are trying to cash in on the popularity, and I think it's going to people are going to play it. I mean, when you see when Elden Ring sells billions of copies and makes so much money in its first week, you're definitely going to want to chase that. But the game itself, it's there's something about it. I can't put my fingers on it, but while watching the gameplay footage, it's like there's something missing. Not to say that it feels cheap, but it feels like there's just something missing from it.
I know exactly what you mean.
There's like a polish aspect that's missing. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Are you a Dead Island fan?
Well, see, okay. So remember we were talking about at the beginning about trailers. Being trailers for a video game versus seeing the gameplay. So the big controversy was when the first Dead Island game came out, it was this great trailer, and I still love the trailer for it. It's all in reverse. So in case you haven't watched it, if you haven't watched it, go on YouTube, watch it now. Dead Island reveal trailer. It's all in reverse, and it starts off with like this little zombie girl, and she's flying back up in reverse into a hotel room, and this whole story of struggle with a family and the zombie outbreak pops up, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so emotional and all this other stuff. And the game comes out, it's like it has nothing to do with that story. They don't even show up in the game. It's you running around killing zombies and grabbing things. So it was basically a test run for what Dying Light became. Anyway, go into, I think it was 2014. It might have been Gamescom. It might have been another thing, but they had a trailer for Dead Island 2. Like, okay, here we go. And then that game was thrown into production hell forever and ever, to the point where it became a joke. Goat Simulator 3 just made a big old joke about it at its reveal just a few months ago. So for Dead Island 2 to actually show up, full trailer, full gameplay, everything else in an actual release date, it's kind of like, oh yeah, suck it, guys. We're actually making this game, and it looks awesome. The time and technology they've kind of gone up to it. It's got procedurally generated gore, according to the developers. So, like, you hit a zombie on part of their body, it's going to show up, which I love. Battle damage, that stuff. That's what I like about any video game. Whether you're shooting a piece of metal, like on an enemy, you can see where that gun bullet hit them, like that stays there. That looks beautiful. That's realistic. I want that kind of immersion. So you're going to get that with your zombies. I am excited to play this because it looks like what?
Did you ever play Dead Rising?
Yes, I love Dead Rising. I was dedicated enough whenever it first came out on the 360 that I went through and I did all the special things where you had to kill X amount of zombies to get the Mega Man gun, and I did that. That was my college days.
This trailer reminded me, there were elements of Dead Rising, like kind of the goofy, like different funny ways to take out zombies.
Yes,
they kind of lost that in the last Dead Rising, so it's 2 and 3. Right. I might be there for that, like a combination of maybe a slightly less serious Dying Light with some of the zombie hijinks of Dead Rising. I
never got into Dying Light. It just all that traversing and parkouring just didn't. I'm sure it's satisfying, but just not my cup of tea or cup of coffee. I should say it's really good. The parkour stuff's really cool. Parkour. Oh, that just reminds me of Mirror's Edge, when parkour in video games became cool. But I was excited with that reveal of Dead Island 2. It's just kind of like, suck it, guys. We're here. We're going to actually come out and, be alive.
Yeah. Well, it's time to talk about the game you love to hate.
Oh, there's many of those, but what, Forespoken? Yeah. It's not because it's not like, oh my gosh, they just totally ruined this story. It's just because of the way they've been marketing it and then not showing anything of love for it. And we finally got some gameplay footage. And the combat,
I don't know what you have against talking cuffs. I am very pro talking cuff, any kind of talking accessory.
Yeah, it's nothing against sentient bangles,
sentient clothing,
swords, or talking skulls or heads that are attached and talk to you about, Norse lore. That's fine. I have no problem with that. It's when you're showing a bunch of tricks and attacks and stuff, and I don't know how that plays into the gameplay, other than it's just like all this fancy particle system stuff. We finally get a hint of what that is, and it's like there's different tiers of magic that the main character uses in Forespoken, and it looks like it could be fun. However, if you watch the gameplay footage, they show a side quest thing and running through a town hub or a city hub, and it feels so stilted, not alive. Even the dialogue animation is just very generic, hands on hips and then moving the mouth, and it's not very animated. Yeah. It's just yes, if you get me this thing, I'll do that. It's like fetch quests. I'm no, I don't need more typical fetch quests. Make it organic, make it feel alive. Do what The Witcher 3 did when it came to any quest, and it makes it so alive compared to, if you get me this metal, I'll make you something cool. You mean this person has? Yeah. I mean, it's
can you make me that? Oh no, I need the tools. Oh, right. I have to go get the tools too. Do you have them in the city? Oh no, they're in a dangerous part of the world that you have to go get. And I've done that quest many times. Yeah, I'm with you. It's like they... What?
I was going to say, it's like they took all the time to not animate the people and animate the combat system.
Right. It's like they made the open world, the running around the fantasy world, the traversal, the combat. It's that's where 80% of the effort went into. And then they're we need a city. Can y'all run into the Unreal Engine system and get some assets and just make a couple cities? And they're sure, bro, we'll knock that out in, a couple hours. And then the cities look dead.
Yeah. And the traverse looks like it could be fun, except there's another grapple hook thing. And it's only if you have certain markers, it looks like a flame stone spike thing. Okay, use this traverse. But the annoying thing is Assassin's Creed Odyssey kept popping in my head. I'm look, there's treasure chests that have no real value, just stuck around. You can go get it if you want. I don't want to keep collecting everything. Quit putting loot there because you think I'm going to be happy with the loot. It's a chore.
Why would anyone put a treasure chest at the top of a little mountain?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Is platform.
Make logical choices of or I guess that's the thing is make your treasures and special things kind of organic with the setting. Don't be well, here we're just gonna put this treasure chest here, and no one's ever got it until this point.
Have you ever played a game where you have to climb a tower and then scan the surroundings and then go one by one and find all the little points of interest on the map?
Yeah, or you press the triangle or Y button and an eagle flies out and says "caw" and shows you the whole city.
But then It doesn't just put the points on the map. You have to look around and find each point on the map, which is fun. Never.
No, it's so much work. Instead of like, well, okay, you unlock part of the map because you got to a high point, which makes sense. Yeah, you got to a high point to survey the land, but you don't have to.
Yeah,
it makes more sense in Horizon where you got it updated to your digital map. Oh, look, we're up here and we got the map data from the tall neck. Hooray!
Yeah,
that'll
make you go through it. Now, if you permit me one brief diversion,
go ahead.
Mad Max does this because in Mad Max you have to go. So it's cool. Mad Max, they have these balloons, hot air balloons that are tethered with this little like gas powered engine, and you have to usually put gas in the engine, and then you ride the balloon up into the air, and then you can look around with your little magnifying glass, and it feels very like tactile and real, but also you can just kind of spin around real quick and it'll hit all the points for you. You don't have to go and like get every single one.
Yeah.
But they did a good job of making that feel cool. So it's possible to do it right. Of course, that game's also almost 10 years old.
Yeah. You think
I'm really surprised.
Now.
I was really surprised to see the tower and map mechanic in here because it made me think, oh, y'all are really borrowing some open world stuff from some other games.
It's like it feels like this. Actually, some of the combat, some of the magic spells reminded me of the gunplay as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like,
I got the same thing.
It's like they're like, we like this gun mechanic, make a game out of it, but fantasy, and then some more. And it's just like this became this amalgamous monster of we don't know what the hell we're doing. I feel like this game is going to flop.
I think the capes look good. I would prefer that they were ponchos. I'm a big fan of ponchos.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, ponchos.
No, I'm talking about Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah. I like those ponchos, especially when you get the same poncho with a different color and you had to traverse this whole area to get a whole thing. Or if you pre-ordered, you get this other poncho that has no significant value or any, doesn't do any stat building for you.
It covers up the character's body, so you can't see them traversing as much. I can just imagine like they're getting ready to ship the game and they're like, all right, the animation team, are y'all done? They're like, oh no, we're not done. Hey, why don't we slap this poncho on the character, and that way no one can see the fact that we didn't get the animation done.
Right. It's like, character creation for your character's face and hair.
Right.
Oh, we're going to have a helmet on the whole time. You never see their face again.
Jedi Fallen Poncho.
Oh, no. So, yeah.
Where are we going next?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the game. This would be a quick thing to talk about. You ever watch the movie?
What's the deal with this?
You ever see the movie?
It's from a movie. Okay.
Oh, it's
so this is from a movie.
Classic movie from the 80s horror film. So these killer clowns, and guess what? They're from outer space.
Right.
And they are very freaky, creepy. It's got some slapstick to it. And they go around terrorizing the town. It's from some of the creators of the Friday the 13th game. So it'll be like, one versus many. It's like up to 3 clowns at a time right now versus human survivors in the town and different maps. I'm excited. I'm going to play this. So very much kind of like Evil Dead. And that's a franchise that has been dormant, but a cult favorite for so long. And I think it'll open up a whole bunch of stuff for people that love the 80s nostalgia wave that still continues to pound out. And everybody loves a scary clown. So I think this is a win-win. I think we'll be good with that. So yay. And then Atomic Heart came alive. It showed itself back up, which I was scared because these guys are out in I think Ukraine or somewhere out there near Russia, because it all takes place in like a dystopian futuristic communist Russia. And I was like, ever since the war in Ukraine started, this thing has been dormant and quiet. And it was after they announced it's coming out sometime in 2022, late 2022. And then they show up with this trailer of the combat footage. I'm like, oh yes. And then it just looks really good. Very much, if you haven't seen it yet, it's very much a BioShock-like game. And I'm just excited. It looks gorgeous. I've been following this for years now. I think since 2018, 2017. When they first showed some snippets of this?
Yeah. I would say second best trailer of show. Because they show you lots of gameplay, but they also show you kind of the atmospheres, the worlds.
Yes.
Not a lot of this weird cinematic with these robots like cutting each other open. The whole time I'm like, I've kind of seen enough gameplay, but I need to know what these robots are doing. Like they're kind of teasing it throughout the trailer. What is happening with these robots here?
Yeah, there still hasn't been like a solid story trailer yet from For Atomic Heart, and it might be good. Just at this point, like, okay, there's something bad going on. I just want to play. The gameplay just looks amazing. So we'll have to see what it is, I guess.
Yeah,
gory.
Everything about it looks awesome.
Yes, I'm excited, and I hope you are excited, Bob, for it. For if you like BioShock.
Oh yeah. I hope it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed that everything is fallen? Atlas has fallen. Mm-hmm. Lords have fallen.
Mm-hmm. The fall of Avalon.
There's another. Yeah, there's so many fallen things. There's so many games. Yeah, and they get confused.
Well, in particular,
Atlas fallen.
Yeah. Meh. That game, it showed just like a little bit of the gameplay in the trailer. It seemed like it was a huge cinematic.
Yeah. Huge cinematic.
But then I'm like, this looks like every other game that's coming out.
Yeah.
And then it looks just like Forespoken on top of that.
I did like sand skating. Sand skating is neat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a cool, I think, concept if it can be done right. And I think that's why people are getting, besides the art style being similar. Is there any gameplay footage for this? Yeah, like there's like a little bit of gameplay footage.
A little bit.
Not enough for me to be like, wow, I can't wait to play this. It's so much of a trailer. Like, I don't know when this game's going to come out. I don't feel like it's ever going to come out.
There must be a marketing like philosophy somewhere that they say you've got to have a killer cinematic to like sell your game.
Right.
And I don't know. I'm kind of worn out by it. I'm like, this looks fine for like a Netflix movie, but what am I going to be doing for most of the game?
Right. It looks like an MMO or something. And I think that's something that game companies need to stop doing is trying to get people online together. Because what they do is online together and then the microtransactions. Like, no, stop. I want to play single player, or, if I have the chance of getting someone with me, that's great. It says, and then when it says wish list now, that means they're still trying to get money to produce this thing. And it's like, because they can go to a person and say, look how many people wish list it, give us more money. I mean, that's my theory. I've never actually looked into seeing how people developers use that as a tool for production, but I imagine that's what it is. And they're like, oh, 2023, we could do it by then if we get X amount of people to invest now. It's going to be kicked around or die, in my opinion. I know it could be a lot further along than what they're showing, but it seems like they spent all their money on the trailer, on the cinematics, than the actual game.
Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about MMOs in a little bit. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the last tier of Nostalgaia?
Yeah, Nostalgaia instead of nostalgia. So this game, I saw like a bit of a gameplay trailer or some of the gameplay before, I guess maybe last year. And it's very much a love letter joking. So like this is the exception to all those Soulsborne games we were talking about. This game is kind of parroting that. Where it's like you're coming back and you're going to do this and you're gonna. I'm sorry, folks. You're playing this guy who looks like this like a 2D sprite, just stickman, and you have to go through and find armor and weapons and play it like a Souls game. But if you're an RPG fan, it has lots of jokes about it, and the combat looks like fun. So this looks like it's just kind of like a fun little game to just make fun of the genre but also enjoy video games and RPGs that have come before it.
The winning part of this trailer was the character customization screen where you have a stick figure on the right, and then you have like age, jaw width, endowment, hairstyle, and you can slide them, but nothing changes.
Right.
That made me laugh. That made me laugh.
It's hilarious, especially if I'm thinking as you upgrade, you can get different, change your character. You get armor that changes who you look like. Like there's different character classes. I don't know how much more to the environment there is, but it looks like that's coming to Game Pass. So I'm going to definitely pick it up and play it and do some recordings of it just because I'm excited.
Could be good. Hey, did you ever play Moving Out?
No. I saw trailers.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if your kids quite have the dexterity to play this game. This is a great couch co-op game, okay? And your job is, you can see on the screen here, there's a house and there's like stuff in the house. So there's like couches and TVs and tables and refrigerators and microwaves. And you're a moving company, and your job is to team up with your players and pick these things up and take them out of the house and into the moving van. Yeah. And it's real kind of clumsy because you have to pick these things up and cooperate because some of the things are really heavy. And you tear the house up. Like sometimes the quickest way to get a couch out is to throw it through the window and the glass shatters.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot of fun to play with kids because they just love the destruction. But if you get everything in the moving van a certain amount of time, you beat the level. And this is Moving Out too.
Regardless of the house coming.
It's hard to play by yourself. They say that you can play by yourself, but it's difficult. But my family's had some fun playing that.
Oh, fun.
Did you see the trailer for Where Winds Meet?
Yes, Where Winds Meet.
Where they meet.
Yeah, so I watched the trailer and then I watched like a bit of an interview or discussion about it, and it's like a love letter to Ghost of Tsushima. Magic. It's like a whole. It's another game that has a bunch of elements to it, and it looks gorgeous.
It looks awesome,
and I'm curious to know how long it's been in development, how it's actually if it's going to play as it shows. It reminds me a bit of the earlier Assassin's Creed games, as well as Ghost of Tsushima, which I keep saying Ghost of Tsushima is like the Japanese Assassin's Creed. But yeah, it's got magic in it.
Oh
yeah. Double jumps, things like that, slowing down time.
To me, it's like Ghost of Tsushima turned up to 11. And it's almost like what Saints Row is to Grand Theft Auto. It's like, we're going to take this and give you all the cool magic and traversal stuff you didn't get because Ghost of Tsushima was so realistic.
Right.
But you're still going to have all the Japanese, like running through a field, fighting dudes in a big arena with red flowers everywhere, blasting fish.
Yeah, and this
blasting a bear.
Well, yeah, because this pulls up more Chinese mythology, which will be interesting because I'm not as up on all the Chinese tales and mythology other than Journey to the West with the Monkey King. That's probably the only story that I know of, and that's actually the most popular story too, with the Monkey King. And there is a game, it's not on this list, that didn't show up.
Black Myth Wukong.
Yes, Black Myth Wukong. And I kept thinking about that while watching this as well. But yeah, this looks good, and I hope it plays out. And I hope
next time I go camping, I'm going to bring a big barrel in case a bear shows up, because you can take the barrel and just blast the bear. Yeah.
A bear roll.
Running on water and attacking this boat.
Yeah. This game. Really cool.
This game.
All right, let's do a speed round through some more stuff because we've taken up more time.
The Great War Western Front, they say, is bringing back the RTS genre. It's from some folks that were involved in some classic RTSs. It looks like a Total War kind of thing. It's very high level, 50,000 foot kind of commandery stuff. It looks kind of gray. I don't know. It didn't just make me want to play it. Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles looks like a build game. Normally the thing that I like. So, but they didn't show a whole lot of gameplay. We'll see about that one.
Cool.
Of course, Aliens Fireteam Elite Pathogen got some gameplay video.
Yes,
it looks
excited
great
about that.
Yeah, we'll play through that when it comes out. Tainted Grail: Fall of Avalon, another falling thing.
In pre-alpha. So is this a first person?
It's first person melee combat. Beyond that, I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
About that one. Dying Light 2 Bloody Ties. I like Dying Light a lot. I like the parkour. I don't like arena combat, and that's their whole thing, is win glory in the arena. No, I'm not interested in that.
Why?
This Stranded Alien Dawn had me for the first minute of the trailer. I don't know if you saw it. My first thought was, this is Subnautica in space. Shows a spacecraft. It shoots a little pod out. And then you see these humans emerge from the pod, and the guy's got a spear because they got to survive on this alien planet. And I was like, okay, survival, crafting, open world. You got me. And then they showed some of the gameplay, and it looked like Sims in space. Yeah. So we'll see.
We'll see
about that. Aliens Dark Descent. Did you see this?
Yeah, I wanted to see more gameplay. Did they even have any gameplay?
They're like, how would you like to play a game where Marines go in and explore a space station where there's aliens inside? You mean like the movie Aliens? Yes, just like that. I would like that a lot.
Yeah, there was some guy I saw an interview just kind of breaking it down from what they saw. I'm like, why couldn't we see it? Maybe we'll see it sometime soon, but it's kind of like it sounded like a top-down strategy, and like how the Marines won't listen to you if they're too scared. I'm like, what? What does this mean?
Yeah, the cinematic shows the Marines, creeping through the base with their weapons and stuff, and then you hear the guy go, "It's got XCOM elements in it," and I'm like, "It does?" Because trailer doesn't look like that.
Yeah, and I want to see how this game works. So quit teasing me with your cinematics.
Yeah. Word Song from Bethesda.
I want to see more of that game. There was nothing but a trailer.
It's another case of like, let's make a cinematic trailer to get people excited about the game.
Right. It's
okay.
Here's all the people that made it, but okay, where's the game?
See, you already burned me, and you're like, from the makers of Subnautica and Brandon Sanderson, like from the makers of Bethesda games. Here's a trailer. Okay.
Right.
Talk to me when you have something.
Right. Don't quit showing us this early on. And like, you're just trying to get more backing.
I caught this Tortuga, A Pirate's Tale trailer. I was watching other trailers, and I kind of caught it in the middle, and I was like, is this gameplay for Sea of Thieves, or what's that other pirate game that everyone blasted?
I mean, I blasted
Skull and Bones.
Skull and Bones. It's a pirate thing. It's like all of a sudden we want pirates again. Okay, but is the game any good?
Yeah.
Who knows?
At the end,
what's
he's
even
like,
Tortuga about? Is that going to be like a strategy game?
I don't know. At the end, he's like, "Join me in Tortuga." And I'm like, I don't know anything about this game. It looks bland.
Right. Stop with the pirates.
This water. Look at this water. I know y'all can't see it on the audio, but like, okay, Sea of Thieves got one thing right big time, and that was water.
Yeah.
This looks like just a boat going over a flat surface where the water's been animated.
Texture. An animated texture.
No.
Ew.
We did get a city builder, which is, I love city builders. This is a post-apocalyptic city builder. Of course, they spend half of the trailer setting up the story where the world is flooded because we didn't take care of the environment.
Oh, no.
I don't know if you're into city builders like this, but
it depends.
This looks awesome. This is great to me.
Oh, cool.
I'll give it a shot. Yeah, I love stuff like that.
Yeah.
Did you see The Chant?
I've been following it. I haven't seen any new trailers, but dude, I'm excited to try it. It looks very creepy.
You know what? I wish there was a 2-player version of one of these kind of horror story games that we could play for the first time together.
No.
Because I wouldn't play this by myself.
No, that's why you're going to have to play it by yourself. Or you can watch me play it, or watch you play it.
I did commit to playing a horror game of your choice.
Yep.
At some point.
And I'm still debating on what to give you.
Yeah.
So System Shock. Interesting. Go ahead.
we've seen this trailer. I don't know if this was how new this was. I think I'd seen this before Gamescom.
They've been trying to they're remaking this, and like it's been forever in the works. And I'm like, go ahead and release it or something, or show me more gameplay, because this is the original, BioShock. This is what inspired BioShock.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see when it comes out.
Yeah. What I see in the trailer looks fantastic. Sign me up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was just reading through a list of games, and I came across this game called Off the Grid.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'll go look at a trailer for Off the Grid and see what it's all about. And then I saw that it's going to be a battle royale, and I was like, not into battle royale. But then I saw Neil Blomkamp's name attached to it.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I love Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah.
Tell me more. So I watched an interview with Neil Blomkamp talking about it, and he told the story of how he got involved in this game, which was Richard K. Morgan called him. And Richard Morgan is my number one favorite author of all time, author of the best book of all time, Altered Carbon. And he was written for a lot of video games, Crysis, a few others. And he is intimately involved in writing the story behind this game. I don't know how a battle royale has a story, but okay. Right. I am almost certainly not going to play this game. The cinematic trailer looks incredible. I love Richard Morgan. I wish it wasn't a battle royale.
Yeah, the like from what I was understanding from the interview, they were talking about how they're going to try to inject a story into it. So, and I'm like, well, why hasn't there been anything like that? I mean, there's I guess a basic premise, but maybe there'll be some story beats. Maybe it'll be a whole, I don't know, single player campaign out of it. It'll be interesting to see how they make that work. Or if it's going to be like, here's some lore, but no one reads it.
Yeah.
It's like
no gameplay in this trailer. Like all this effort goes into the cinematic trailer and there's no gameplay.
Right. Yeah. And that's what was disappointing from what I remember seeing that. I was like, okay. And I couldn't tell if this was supposed to be Love, Death, and Robots or this was going to be a game. Honestly.
The world looks awesome. It looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not going to play a battle royale. Hey, you know what? We didn't talk about Dune Awakening.
No.
Another game.
I know why we didn't talk about
cinematic.
It. Yeah.
Yeah. It was only a cinematic. And then, so you're watching it going, okay, that dude looks kind of weird and robotic, but fine. There's a sandworm. I like sandworms. Oh, he's going to ride the sandworm. And then at the end, they say MMO.
Right.
And I said, I'm out.
Dead.
Out. Not playing an MMO.
It's HBO, Warner Brothers, whoever, saying, let's make more money off of this Oscar-winning fan favorite title. Again, know what they need to do is finish up the one game they've already talked about, which I still haven't seen enough gameplay footage for, and then consider something else. But no, we don't need a MMO of... I love Dune enough, but I don't see myself trying to be a Fremen in an MMO.
Yeah, and I feel like MMO used to mean you play with other people, and now MMO means microtransactions.
Yeah.
Content every 6 weeks that you have to pay for, just squeezing. That's what MMO feels like to me.
Yes.
And no.
Yeah, no. It's a big letdown.
If they did an open world Dune, like an Assassin's Creed style, Ghost of Tsushima style open world game, I would give them my money ahead of time. But
not
an MMO.
Harkonnen, Empire, Emperor, or another house, but then you'd be Atreides, and you have to be them, and you figure your way around. I would love that.
Shall we talk about the winners and losers of show?
Yes, we should. You want to start?
Yeah, so why don't I do my winners and you do your winners and I'll do my losers. You do your losers.
And the winners are...
my winners of show were Where Winds Meet. I thought that they did a great job of showing the game and it looked fun.
Yeah.
Because it's a game and games should be fun.
Yes.
They didn't go overboard with the cinematics.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they took elements of games that I love and said, here, we're going to take the best elements and mix them up. And here you go. You like Ghost of Tsushima? You like traversal? You like ropes? We got the ropes. Put it all in there. It looked great.
Right.
And then Atomic Heart, the trailer for Atomic Heart was fantastic.
Yes.
They were like, hey, here's an incredible world, an incredible story, weird robots, and look at this gameplay. There are several sections where you can tell you're in a boss fight, and this giant boss like rolls towards you with this like kinetic, just like ferocity that I'm like, put me in that game right now.
Right, put me in, coach. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And what are your losers?
What about your winners?
Oh, you want to? Well, do you want to talk about my winners, and we go to your losers?
Well, let's do my losers then. So the losers of show, Tortuga is my number 3 loser, just because like. How could, if you have paid any attention over the past 6 months to games media, you would not put out a trailer like Tortuga. It is bland.
You wouldn't.
We already have a pirate game. Yep. There's nothing in there that makes you want to play it. No one knows what Tortuga is, where it is. That was a bad trailer. Dune Awakening, bad trailer. All cinematic is not enough to sell an MMO. It's just not enough. And that dude, that plays Paul Atreides looks weird.
I don't know if that's supposed to be Paul Atreides.
Whatever.
You would think it was. I'm sure it's just General Freeman. His name's Freeman.
I don't know. He looks weird. Moonbreaker. Yeah. Now look, Moonbreaker may be a great game. It may be for some people. Biggest disappointment of the show for me was Moonbreaker, just because I love Subnautica so much. I love it so much.
That they've disappointed you, the developers.
And I thought I was going to get more.
Yeah. Stick with what you know instead of, trying something new that might just, not do it for everybody. I get it. All right. My winners, like you, Atomic Heart. The gameplay looks amazing. Been looking forward to the game. Just excited to see that it still lives and not been pushed aside. I hope to see more. Maybe we'll get a solid date out of it, but I think they showed up and just let it's like about 3 minutes of just kick-ass gameplay play, and that sells the game. You don't have to know anything else about it, but I want to play that. Yeah. That's what you have to say after watching a trailer instead of like, okay, this looks cool. What about the gameplay? If you keep asking that, then you've done the wrong job here. Dead Island 2, I think, is a winner because not only did it come back, it's like a underdog story. It's come back with a vengeance from the dead, but also it showed gameplay, lots of gameplay instead of a trailer, and the idea of procedural gore. Yeah, I know, and it just looks amazing. And then Callisto Protocol, we didn't talk about it during the list because it's been announced. We know when it's coming out, but they showed more gameplay of it. Again, gameplay, folks. You hear this, the gaming industry? Gameplay. They were showing how. Yeah, we want to see it. So they're showing like beating up these monsters. I don't even know if we have a term yet for them. They're not necromorphs because that's Dead Space. But like we have a gravity hand grip thing thrown into like a shredder, a wood chipper, and it's all gory, visceral, and scary, and I love it. I can't wait to play it. My losers. Forespoken.
You're so mean to Forespoken.
It looks like it's DOA.
So mean.
I hate to say it, but it's just going to be DOA.
Wow. You're wrong. I'm going on record right now. You're wrong.
All right. Then
it's not going to be that bad.
I want to hear your review when it comes out. And but it just looks, it's just, at this point, I think it's going to be DOA. It's just it's missed. It's going to be a tax write-off for Square Enix. That's what this is. They're like, all right, let's finish it. That's what it is. It's going to be.
Save this audio. Save this audio because in February, Eric is going to be telling me how much he loves to play Forespoken and how wrong he was. It won't be Game of the Year. I'm not saying that.
No, it's not going to be Game of the Year. No. And then the other losers are every Souls-like. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that there will be advances in sentient cuff technology between now and release date. I'm confident.
What, my Apple Watch is going to start talking to me more?
Maybe.
If I could cast spells with that, that'd be great.
And you'll be like, it feels like real life.
Yeah, and you're like, whoa, it's a dragon. Is my new life. Hello. I mean,
yeah. Hello, this surfboard is made out of cotton candy
in water. But in the other losers are every Soulsborne game that was announced. Y'all are missing the boat. Yeah, I'm going to let it out. Yeah, it's too late.
The
boat has sailed
strong.
You were trying to swim and paddle to get on that cruise ship of dreams. And after it's several times been shipped, you've had your time to make your Souls-like game, people. But you're missing.
Maybe a victor will emerge.
No. I think
skepticism is strong.
There'll be something fun, but it's not going to be the same. There's not anyone who's going to be able to, I'm not saying it's the goal, but no one's going to be able to compete to be the same caliber or dethrone from software titles of the Soulsborne genres. So
not after Elden Ring.
No. Anyway,
you have to imagine these developers came up with these concepts. They've been working on them. And they're like, oh, this is going to be just like Dark Souls 3, but so much better. And then Elden Ring came out, and they were like, oh no.
Right.
Because
we're going to make ours look like
good.
Bloodborne. Oh,
yeah.
no. Because
Elden Ring's like, hold my beer.
Right. And I think the thing is because there is no Bloodborne 2. So therefore, the industry has decided to answer it with, well, like our own Bloodborne. Just like how PT didn't get developed for Silent Hills, so everyone in the world made their own pretty much inspired by horror game that was like that. And thank God, because that's where we got all of our games, is because PT didn't exist. We got all the other type of horror games we have now from the first person view. But anyway, any other final notes from you on Gamescom?
I love having lots of gaming news. It's a bright gaming future ahead of us.
It is very bright and very very
gameplay.
Much, very little of gameplay, lots of cinematic, and a lot of okay, now what?
Now, I don't know about you, but when I play a video game, I actually play it. I watch the cutscene and then I play the game. I don't just watch the cutscene. And maybe they don't realize that.
I love the cutscene. It helps me get into the story. But then I want to help be that element to continue the story and be part of it, because then it's that immersion of I'm playing the character, I get the cutscene, I'm invested. Versus, well,
it's also 99% of it's also 99% of what I'm going to be doing with your game that I spent $60 on. So maybe tell me what I'm going to be doing. Make me want it.
Yep, exactly. Well, thanks for listening to Pause Button. Like, subscribe, follow on YouTube, and like and review on the Apple Podcast Store.
And send us your thoughts, ideas, and reactions to emails at pausebuttongaming.com. Have a great week, and don't forget, when life gets hectic, sometimes you need to hit the pause button.